Classic. here tonight.
Let's give it up to
And our Ring of Honor World Champion, Mark Briscoe. And I'd like to kick things off. Mark, I'm going to ask you a quick question before we really get going. How you feeling?
Never better, Mr. Riccoboni. Never better. Now, once all this adrenaline wears off, we might have a little bit of soreness going on, a little stiffness. Looks a couple kinks to work out. But as of right now, I feel amazing.
And Tony, how are you feeling?
I feel fantastic. It's, I think, one of our best pay-per-views, and it's all thanks to the amazing wrestlers, the great ROH crew, the staff. You, Ian, congratulations on 10 years today in ROH. And what a great omen. When you said that, I felt like tonight was going to be very special. I already had a good feeling coming in, especially with, all the great stars and all the great wrestlers on this show. But things have just been so magic in this building. There's really magic in this place. And what a great show tonight. And what a great main event, Mark.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll turn it over for some questions now. If you could just state your name, the outlet you're covering from, we'd love to take your questions for the champ.
Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. Mark, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
You've talked a lot in these post-show press conferences sort of about your transition from an entire life as a tag team wrestler to a singles wrestler. Now, in the span of 3 days, you've survived blood and guts and have now defended the Ring of Honor world title. How would you kind of judge yourself now as a performer?
Well, this is my sophomore season, it's my sophomore season. And I really feel like I'm starting to hit my stride, had to work out some of them kinks in my rookie season. But no, I'm really enjoying myself doing singles and doing trios and stuff with the conglomeration. Like that just came out of nowhere, man. But it's like so cool. But no, I'm loving it. This is it was weird because when the accident first happened and Jay first passed, it was really a legitimate, like, in that moment, I did not know if I ever wanted to wrestle again. And now it's like that, like, you know what I mean? The devil's a liar, man. He wanted me to never wrestle again. But now it's like Jamin, I can just feel him, just feel his presence and just his joy through what I'm able to continue to do. And, I thank Tony so much for the opportunity. And just, I thank all y'all, for continuing to watch and, cheer when you want to cheer, boo when you want to boo. But, no, it's really it's a very unexpected, point in my career. If you would have asked me however many, go back any more than 2 years ago, I never would have thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing right now with, Jay still with me, but not in the physical. But it's amazing, man. I'm feeling good right now. I'm feeling really good.
Questions? All right. Any questions for Mark?
Tyler Wilson. Is this on? Sorry. Tyler Wilson, Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting with Full Sail University. You say this is your sophomore year. So what do you think's going on for your junior year?
Ooh, I don't know, man. I said last year, but in my freshman year that I smelled gold in them there hills. And, we already got, this ain't necessarily gold. I mean, is that white gold? I can't tell, but, but hey, I'm just rocking and rolling, baby. That's one thing that me and Jay, that was always our, it was kind of like our MO, what's that stand for? Ian,
Modus operandi.
Operandi. Yeah, the modus operandi. Just rock and roll. Like, whatever may be coming ahead, it's going to come one way or the other. Bring it on. You know what I mean? So let's just keep on rocking. Let's rock right on into the junior year, the senior year. Then we go into college, all that good stuff, But, yeah, man, I'm just like, what a amazing week to be able to get to do blood and guts. Whoop some ass, take some names, you know what I mean? We picked up the win there for Team AEW, and now I get to wrestle one of my oldest friends in professional wrestling, Roderick Strong, and it just felt like, first time we wrestled, I believe, was in 2002 in Bayonne, New Jersey. Now here we are, 2024, and hey, conglomeration and six-man tag team action tomorrow night on Collision, baby. So, it's just amazing. This is a dream come true. When I was a kid, when I went to bed at night and said my prayers, I said, Lord, please let me be a pro wrestler when I grow up. And thank you, Lord. You know what I mean?
Anyone else? One more. Mark, this is Brian Zelm with PW Torch. First off, just wanted to say I met your wife and your son in the crowd. Lovely individuals, and they spoke obviously highly of you, and I'm glad to enjoy your match.
That's a surprise.
Well,
That's a little
well,
surprise there.
you know, your son was as handsome as you, so it was easy to spot right away. So, congrats there. But a decade ago, it might have been hard to imagine a Briscoe featured as a television character so heavily. So now you're in our Ring of Honor, you're promoting Shark Week, you're in Blood and Guts, you're in main eventing. What does that mean to you that you are a main fixture in a live wrestling television show in 2024?
It's really, man, it's really cool. You know, it's one of them things where, you know, as a kid, it's like watching wrestling on TV is like that's what we wanted to do, and then you know, because of whatever circumstances came about, you know, as good as me and my brother always have been and always knew that we were, that opportunity just wasn't available. And now, you know, that it's a reality. And thanks to my main man, Tony Khan, you know, it really is. It's just living the dream, man, living the dream. And you know, I just take it day by day. Don't take anything for granted. Try to stay humble and just know that, you know, one thing that the main lesson I've learned over the past few years is that anything and everything can be gone like that. So, you know, I'm living in the moment and I'm just enjoying the hell out of it. It's great. It's amazing.
There's about a 50-year history of pro wrestling on TBS, about a 30-year history of pro wrestling on TNT. Does Mark Briscoe fit those traditions like a glove? Like a glove. It's great having Mark Briscoe on TBS and TNT and in ROH. Does Mark Briscoe fit in ROH as the world champion of ROH? Like a glove. Does Death Before Dishonor fit here in Arlington in Esports Stadium? Like a glove. This place is awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the setup, man.
Yeah,
I love
great.
you talk about
great.
This is just the spirit of ROH. It just feels like.
You see, I added another row of seats up there.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was hyped. I was like, damn right, man. We got them things up a little bit off the ground, looking good. Yes, sir.
Mark, we know your beautiful family is here tonight. We thank you for joining us because I understand we have another guest, Tony. So
yeah, we have some great champions, but this has been fantastic. It was one of my favorite nights, and it's one of my favorite pay-per-views, and what a great main event. What a great world champion. Thank you, Mark.
Yo, thank you. God bless you, brother. Man, I did not know 10 years.
10 years today.
Wow.
Hey, yeah.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Robert's on his birthday. You started on Ronnie's birthday.
I'll see you tomorrow. Conglomeration.
Yes, sir. Conglomeration, baby.
Let's go.
All right, the world champion Mark Briscoe, everybody, and it gives me great pleasure at this time. Tony, I've been informed we have the women's world champion.
Yes.
And it does not look like she's coming alone.
Yes. The MIT.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena, Lexi Nair, and Billy Starks.
Congratulations.
I can, if you'd like to.
Congratulations.
All right, Athena, here tonight. You are rapidly approaching 600 days, a mark only touched on the men's side by Samoa Joe. Does it feel like your legacy now has been established as one of the greatest Ring of Honor competitors, male or female, of all time?
Yes. Very simple answer. That's all I've set out to do, was just get the recognition that I feel like all of us strive for in the locker room. Like, I am the best. I want everyone to try to step up. I want everyone to try to beat me, even though they're incapable of it. This is my show. It is my rules. This is me on a platter, and everyone needs to respect it, because I will punch you in the face, as tired as I am right now.
With that, we turn to the press for any questions. And please be sure to be kind to Athena, or she will inflict physical damage. Yes, sir.
Hey, Athena, Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. We spoke yesterday about your entrance gear. The only sneak peek you gave me was it was going to be one for the 90s kids. Can you reveal the official, what it was and how you arrived at actually constructing it?
This was inspired by Sandlot. If you haven't figured it out yet, gosh, I need you guys to get your nerd culture on point. It's a cult classic. And today, in the scrum, I'm Smalls, you know, too big hat, nice custom MIT jersey. Get over it. But no, I had to make the mask myself. My amazing gear lady, Tanya, made my outfit for me today, and she just nailed it. But I had to emergency make a mask in like 2 days, and that took me about 14 hours to do that. So that was fun. Getting off a plane, finishing that, just making sure all the final pieces are done. But yeah, Sandlot, the Beast, baby.
Do you have a favorite Babe Ruth nickname that they said in the movie? The Great Bambino, Salt and the SWAT.
The Colossus.
I kind of just fell in love with the dog, to be honest
Hey,
with you.
that's fair.
Because
Yeah.
I felt like he got just not what he deserved by
Ah.
the end of it. He was like, "Oh, we'll be friends," and I'm like, "Why? That's not fun."
That's fantastic. I saw it at my friend's birthday 30 years ago in the theater.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember seeing it like time and time and time again. Like it was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. Like it was coming of age tale. Like it didn't matter like how much you struggled. Like you could make friends, you could bond over something. You know, that's exactly what we do in MIT. We bond over violence.
Oh.
This is our joy, except for this one right here.
I tried.
No, not hard enough. Minion. Anyway, next.
Any questions?
Tables have turned.
Hey, Athena. Brian Zone, PW Torch. You were one of 3 women's matches featured tonight on the pay-per-view. The women's division as a whole, whether it be ROH or AEW, continues just to break boundaries. I'm sorry. And then you look at the Texas Death Match tonight between Layla Hirsch and DeMonte. They did a great job. You're obviously a great champion. What would you like to see from either yourself next or just the division as a whole to move forward?
Technically speaking, we did have 4 matches tonight. There was one on the pre-show with Marina Shafir. So I will give props to all the Porcelain Hussies that did wrestle tonight. I've beaten all of them. But it's really cool to see them stand up and deliver time and time again. I remember being backstage and saying, just to see what Diabla and Miss Little Hirsch was going to cook up. And in that lights out match, like it shocked me, the lengths that they would go, but that just shows my reign has inspired all. The inspiration to the ROH women's division. You know, I want to continue to see the women of my locker room step up. I want to continue to see them push the boundaries of what they are capable of. It makes great TV. It makes great recognition for yours truly, since I am the head of this division. But most of all, I think we all bond in that, I don't know, satisfaction of delivering. And I think every match on the card tonight delivered, especially the women. We showed out like, I mean, geez, Layla, like, by God, jumping off a ladder, doing a moonsault. Like, I thought the first one was scary. That was even more scary, but she nailed it. And that's what she had to do to win. And I want to see more of that. Like, for me, forever ROH champion. Forever. Do not talk, minion.
Athena, what about Lexi? She did good tonight.
No, you don't. Do not
I
remind
said-
me to give people compliments.
Okay.
That is not your job, minion. 400,237 and 3/4. No. But Lexi, you did so good, girl. I'm so proud of you. This is my girl right here. She just valedictorian of MIT, by the way. This one right here, flying colors.
She's really changed.
So beautiful.
Certainly has. Athena, we'd like to thank you for your time.
Of course.
And congratulations on your victory here
Congratulations.
tonight.
I look forward to my raps still. I'm waiting.
Congratulations. Wow.
You can fix that.
Yeah, I will.
fine.
That's
It's
mine.
fine.
That's on me. Thank you. Congratulations.
I can.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Still decent human in there after all.
Right? Yeah. Somewhere down there. At this time, we'd like to welcome some legends
Wow.
from legendary families here in Texas. We have.
What an
Wait
opportunity.
a minute. Yeah.
Congrats on tonight.
Yeah.
Excited for tomorrow? You need one more chair. I'll tell you what. Ross, you sure? No.
Sit down, young.
Hey, can I pass the chair up here, Adam? Thanks. Yeah, we'll slide down.
Oh, sure.
We'll slide down. We'll scoot. We'll scoot.
Yep.
Great. Great.
I'd like to.
doing? Y'all doing all right?
Fantastic.
All right.
It was a great pay-per-view and should be a great match tomorrow. Very excited about the Battle of the Belts right here, less than 24 hours from right now.
Wow.
On TNT and worldwide. Very huge opportunity for this team going for the ROH World Six-Man Championship against three of the greatest ROH wrestlers ever, live on TNT tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta kick things off, Tony, before we turn it to the press. Dustin, Marshall Ross, what a night it is. Did you have any weight on your shoulders knowing that your fathers had teamed together and have known each other for almost 46 years?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't, pressure being a Von Erich. My brother and I, we hold this name with it's an oath, it's a duty. And tonight the pressure felt a little heavier because not only we're representing our family, but the Rhodes family. This name that was built on blood, sweat, and sacrifice. And so my brother and I, this is a little deep, but my brother and I, we're around the ages that my uncles left, and we both feel this oath to not only finish their story, but write our own. And we want to thank Tony for making this possible. And we believe that Von Erichs will be a household name once again. And being here with Dustin, this is dreams come true. This is crazy. It really is crazy.
So for me, guys, it's a long time ago. I figured this out. I always wanted to be just like my dad, right? And try to fill his shoes. And it's an impossible task. You can't do it. They can't fill their dad's shoes. And it's tough. And once you realize that, you're going to be better off because you have to buy your own shoes. And you have to fit in those and try to make something of yourself, right? Under your name, under the Von Erichs. So it is a lot of pressure. It's tough on us as being, the sons of legends. Very hard. A lot harder than people think. A lot of people think it's easy. We got in the business. Yay. Got shot to the moon. No, we worked our asses off. And it's tough. And it took me a lot of years to realize, hey, I'm not Dusty Rhodes. They're not Kevin Von Erich. I'm Dustin Marshall Ross, right? So the sooner they can know that, the better they're going to be. But tonight was unbelievable for me. Standing in the ring with them. I mean, the first time the last time they tagged was 1978, Kevin and Dusty, which is pretty cool for me to be in the ring with them. And now to go on tomorrow, Battle of the Belts for the Sixers. Special. This opportunity is knocking, and we're going to capitalize on it.
Everything you just said, Dustin, really spoke to me. I know what it's like being the son of a great man and going out and trying to do things on your own. And I think all of us can relate to that on this stage here, the four of us, I mean. And I'm very excited for the opportunity. I grew up watching both the Von Erichs family and the Rhodes family. One of the first pro wrestlers I ever saw when I was 7 years old and tuned into pro wrestling was you, Dustin. You're one of my favorite wrestlers when I was a very young kid, starting to watch wrestling for the first time ever. And one of the first things I ever saw was you wrestling for World Six-Man Championships, fittingly enough on the Turner Networks, wrestling for Six-Man Championships. And it was on TBS then. This will be on TNT. And, of course, a huge fan of the Von Erichs. What a great history of the Von Erichs family and Six-Man Championships in Texas on TNT tomorrow. Very cool stuff for the Rhodes and the Von Erich family to come together tomorrow against probably, I would say it's fair to say, maybe three of the greatest wrestlers ever in ROH and the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, the Kingdom, and Roderick Strong, one of the most decorated wrestlers ever here, and the former international champion. It's going to be amazing.
We have our work cut out for us for sure.
Yeah,
but I'm glad for the opportunity.
It'll be a big test.
Yep.
That's for certain. We'll hand it over to members of the media if anybody has any questions for Dustin, the Von Erichs, Marshall Ross.
Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. Ross, Marshall, I was lucky enough to sit down, have a conversation with your dad last week, and he can't speak more highly of you guys and the performers you're becoming. But this question might actually be more for Dustin. You guys just wrestled a Von Erich match in Arlington, another match in the last couple of weeks since you guys just wrestled again on Saturday. What is that? The electricity in the building is different when it's a Von Erich match in North Texas. What does that feel like, getting to perform just with that little extra oomph that is that feeling?
This is Texas, baby. Rhodes, the Von Erichs. I mean, my God, it just writes itself, right? It's incredible to be out here with these two athletic gentlemen. I mean, they're crazy. Their drop kicks are so high, it's like 10 feet tall. And I'm just watching them in awe. And, they're so fast and crisp and clean, and they're getting better each week. And they're getting these reps, right, which is part of it. And I've been doing it for 36 years. So to watch them and to kind of guide them along the way, along with their dad, like I watched their dad for so long, and my dad, and, that taught us so much. So that's my job, right, to kind of lead them and take the reins, and let's guide them to some greatness, because they're going to be really big. They already are. They're naturals. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Hi, this is Paul Wedding with WFAA. I was very amused to see Katsuyori Shibata come out and hold up the Iron Claw. And I was confused at first, and then I realized he may have seen your dad or the Von Erichs wrestle in Japan, or his father was a referee, may have refereed for your father or your uncles. I was wondering, what's that been like being with Shibata? Has it had any stories for you or anything like that?
And a lot of people don't know, but my brother and I are huge fans of Shibata, and always have been ever since our time at NOAA. And the first time he came out and showed us respect it was kind of like an out of body experience. It was everything happened at once. So it was
unbelievable. We watched this guy all through the Pro Wrestling Noah dojo since 2012, and since we've watched him for so long. Him and Kenta looked up to him for so long. To actually get to meet him was a big deal for us. And so the fact that he came out and stuff was a genuine reaction on our part. And so yeah, it was genuine and cool. And we'll always love Shibata.
Awesome. Great question. We have time for one more for Dustin and the Von Erichs.
Last call.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Brian Zilm from PW Torch. Dustin, I guess this is more for you, and Tony, you might actually know this because you've got a lot of knowledge.
Tony knows everything.
Yeah, he does. Well, let's see if he knows this. Tony, has there ever been brothers wrestle in two different sides of the world in a span of 12 hours? Because Dustin, I believe your brother was actually wrestling in Japan earlier today. How surreal is that? I know you always look up and say you're not your father, but whether some people may not realize it or not, I believe the Rhodes does have a great name, because if you consider the fact that you're in two different continents wrestling at the same time, that's pretty amazing.
Hey, I'm proud of Cody. He's doing an amazing job, right? We're over here kicking ass, and I love it. I love being a part of AEW. It's the best place I've ever worked in my entire career. It's incredible, and I thank Tony for that. I thank all the guys and the girls here. Everybody's sweet as pie, man, and it's a fun place to be. The energy we have here just makes you want to go out and perform. And, when you have an empty tank, like for me, in my endurance levels or whatever, there's always a little bit more because of the energy in these buildings. The fans are so responsive, so crazy, so loud. I'm happy for my brother. I'm doing God's work here. We're fixing to take the world by storm, the Von Erichs and the Rhodes. That's right.
Dustin, Marshall, Ross, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the win. Good luck tomorrow night on Battle of the Belts.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
See you tomorrow.
Thank y'all. Have a good night.
It's going to be a heck of a six-man tomorrow, Tony. I'll tell you what. I was going to sneak in that WCW reference if you weren't.
Well, it's good. I thought that anytime you could reference Big Josh.
I was going to. He didn't have the bear that night, though. He had the axe handle, but not the bear.
Very good.
Yeah. At this time, it's our distinct pleasure to welcome the brand new and second only women's television champion, Red Velvet.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
As we think
Getting
about
old.
Yeah.
Hey, we did it.
We think about your journey to the title and the tournament that concluded at Supercard of Honor. You gave an interview. You said, I whoever wins, I respect the winner. You came so close. And then how gratifying was it to see Billy Starks right in front of you after disrespecting your friend, your colleague, Queen Aminata, and to be able to avenge that loss and make history winning the title for yourself?
It was great. It's been a long journey. I came back from this injury. I didn't know where I was going to be, where I fit in, what I could do. And honestly, I thank Billy. I thank Queen because she brought it out of me right before. And it was a loss that I did not feel bad for. She deserved it. Billy, as bad as things got, I respect her. I respect her. She gave me the fight of my life tonight. And I hope that she will go back to her old ways. She's a sweet girl, and nobody knew, but when I got injured and suffered my knee, she's the one that walked me to my room in my wheelchair. So to see where she's at now and who she's hanging out with is a shame, but I will not disrespect her capabilities and the fight that she gave me tonight. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to disrespect me. Nobody's going to disrespect my hard work, and hard work always pays off. And she learned that firsthand tonight.
Awesome. Tony, you got to be proud of your new champion.
I'm so proud of the new champion. It's been great working with Red Velvet and AEW and in ROH for years. And like you said, the inaugural ROH Women's World TV Title Tournament was a fantastic tournament. I absolutely loved working on that tournament with all the women, including Red Velvet. And I thought she had some of the best matches in the tournament, came so close to winning the title. And it was really gratifying to see Red Velvet with her biggest championship win to date. And here in this amazing environment on one of the best pay-per-views ever. What a great moment to have a great new champion here.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. We'll turn it over to the press. If anybody would like to ask Red Velvet a question.
Tyler Wilson, Dan Patrick School, Sportscasting. Red Velvet. So now that you're the new champion, what can we expect you to be whipping up next in my mom's kitchen?
Ooh.
Well, you know what they say, the chef never reveals, the secret ingredient. But tonight, everybody found out I am the secret ingredient. So I always saw myself as an underdog. So I'm happy to now hold this title, put honor back in this title, and give opportunities to the ladies that are just like me, the underdogs, the ones that people think aren't going to show up. Yeah, I want to go against each and one of them, and I'm going to be stirring it up, Now we're cooking. We're cooking now.
Hi, Red.
Hello.
Hi, Ed Alvarado with PW Insider. Red, I would say it's been about 3 years since you started with AEW. Like you said, you were the underdog most of the time, and then you were featured more prominently with the baddies. Afterwards, like you mentioned, there was some setbacks with injury. You came back arguably better than you were before the injury. Now, fast forward to now, you shifted over to Ring of Honor, kind of rejuvenated your career a bit. And now tonight, in front of your friends and family, the whole world, finally a culmination of your hard work. You became Ring of Honor Women's TV Champion. I guess my question is, what does tonight mean, not only for your career, but the road it took you to get here?
Tonight, I mentioned it before, and if people had seen my promo before, a couple weeks ago, I really was almost done. I was at my wit's end in the sense of just like, everyone feels insecure, and that's normal. And just after this injury, I just didn't know where I stood, and I'm grateful that Billy brought it out of me. But it's been a long road, and I'll tell everybody, like, I've never had anything handed to me. And I think that patience and time and hard work always adds up. And I just knew that I needed to be patient with myself. I also felt like I needed to show not only Tony Khan, my boss, but everybody else that I meant it when I said that I was going to come back better than I left. My injury was, weirdly enough, the best thing that happened to me. I got a lot of time to deal with things no one knew about and just really go deep and find myself. And I think today I had my family and I wanted to prove it to Billy and everybody, but today was for nobody else but me, to just let myself know that, yeah, you're here, you belong, you've been working for it, and now's the time. Thank
Excellent.
you.
We have time for one more for Red Velvet. Anybody? Yeah.
You said, why not?
Hey, Red. This is Brian Zone with PW Torch. Since your return from injury, it's on screen, you seem more confident. It feels like you found your voice on television. I was just curious, Do you owe that to anybody specifically, whether that be Queen Amanata or anybody else in the backstage, or maybe someone even like Jennifer Pepperman?
Whew, that was a good one. There's a lot. I think I could go down the list of people that have just been such a big part of my journey and returning, and the list can go on. Of course, Queen is one of them. She is one of the main reasons that ignited the fire in me. Like, oh, wow, like I met my match. But I've just been working with so many people. I have to thank Brian Danielson. He's been like a huge part of my comeback and investing in me and seeing what I can do and believing in me. I can thank everybody, Tony Khan, all these people. So that list will go on. But when I got injured, I did a lot of deep soul searching, and nobody knows, or maybe they know, I'm 32 now. And I think once I hit my 30s, like I finally, after everything I went through, started getting to know myself as a woman and realized that I looked back at everything. I like to watch a lot of my stuff from before just to enjoy the journey, and just seeing me grow up here at AEW and make my name here at AEW. That's really special to me. That's my home. So I have to thank AEW because I am where I am today because of Tony Khan and AEW. But I did some deep soul searching. So I think I'm growing as a woman, and it was time for the world to see that. And I'm not afraid anymore to be vulnerable with people and show them, like, yeah, I can be up here right now, but I was in my lowest. So I thank everybody that's had a journey with me and AEW. The list is so long. But yeah, a lot of soul searching, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for opening up and sharing that.
Absolutely.
And congratulations once again. We're proud of you. We're proud of your
Congrats.
journey.
It's absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic to have Red Velvet as the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion. She's been one of the great wrestlers in AEW. And like you've all said, I think since she's been back in ROH, I think you're doing some of the best wrestling of your career, maybe the best wrestling I've ever seen. And really, really congratulations and thank you for tonight, Red Velvet.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
All right. We had some history made here tonight. Red Velvet, a part of that, Tony, but also we have a brand new Ring of Honor Pure Champion. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Tiger Style Lee Moriarty, the brand new Ring of Honor Pure Champ.
Awesome. Awesome.
Lee, I'm going to put you on the spot right out of the gate. I got a tough one. I've been thinking about this all night.
What's up?
In 2021, there was a bit of a bidding war for the services of Lee Moriarty, and you had committed to coming to Ring of Honor, at least for a night, at Death Before Dishonor. And in that time, Tony reached out with a generous offer. He came to AEW, but we honored the deal for the match. Did you ever see yourself 3 years ago as a fixture, as someone that would be a standard bearer for Ring of Honor, and particularly the Pure division?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
When I decided to be Tiger Style Lee Moriarty and the wrestler that I am, I knew this was a style of wrestling that was going to help me stand out. I knew this was a style of wrestling that was going to bring me to that next level, to get me to the heights that I am now. And you're right. Ring of Honor did reach out to me. This was during the pandemic, and it almost happened, but circumstances, because of contact, did not happen. I actually wrestled Orange Cassidy on an independent show a few days before AEW was in Pittsburgh. That afforded me the opportunity to come to AEW in my hometown, which I fought Dante Martin, moved on, did another match in Chicago, did a third match. Last minute, I got a text at 4 a.m., I think. Immediately drove out to Cincinnati, Ohio, where I fought Daniel Garcia. And we had that match. I came back to the curtain, and Tony Khan offered me a contract. So I did see myself as a part of Ring of Honor, but I also saw myself as part of AEW because I wanted to go where the best wrestling is, because that is what I love about professional wrestling, the sport and the art of it. That's why I'm the Pure Champion. That's why I'm in Ring of Honor. That's why I'm in AEW.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what's really cool. It kind of embodies what we built here, because you can see a great wrestler like Lee Moriarty on the great AEW shows, on the ROH shows. I'll talk about that more when I talk with all of you, but I think it really embodies over the last couple of years the synergies and really the chemistry between AEW and ROH, and to have a great ROH Pure Champion, somebody, again, talking about people who fit their championship and fit this great pay-per-view in this environment like a glove, Lee Moriarty, and congratulations, Lee.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, heck of a win, heck of a night, heck of a match. You and Yuta, you feel like it feels like Brian Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, as it was kind of boiling between those two as they were younger, as they grew together. So I don't want to put any high expectations or burden on you, but
That is the highest expectation and burden that you can put on myself and Willie Yuta. But I appreciate that. That's the highest compliment also.
We believe in you. So, all right, we're going to turn things over to the press. Any questions for the new Pure Champion?
Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. Pretty immediately after the bell rang, you were getting "You Deserve It" chants. As we just talked about, you were a guy who's been around for a couple of years now. What was that moment like for you now holding Pure Championship?
It's so surreal because you work and you work and you work. And sometimes in professional wrestling, more often than not, everything is timing. People will always say you deserve something, but you earn everything you get. I earned an opportunity at the Ring of Honor Pure Championship when I outlasted Willa Yuta in that Proving Grounds match. I earned this opportunity to compete tonight at this pay-per-view and become Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Deserving is something I appreciate, but I also earned it. And I will always be grateful for the fans that supported me, because last night you saw on Ring of Honor TV, I was not loved. When I teamed with Anthony Ogogo against Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, they were the favorites. They were the guys that people were supporting. I was the guy there booing over. I come in tonight, I'm getting Tiger style chants. I'm getting cheered. I'm getting "You Deserve It." And that's special because that woke me up. That hyped me up. And I think that helped carry me over that hump in overcoming someone who has pretty much had my number in most of my career in Wheeler Yuta.
Great question.
Hi, this is Paul Wedding with WFAA. Going into the pure matches, you've got these additional rules that seem kind of constraining, but in certain ways, it seemed like you use those rules to your benefit in the match to help win. How do you, how do you approach going into a pure rules match versus going into a standard wrestling match?
I believe that all professional wrestling is a high level of chess, but when it comes to technical and pure wrestling, that is the highest level. There's certain things as professional wrestling we instinctively do. We instinctively grab the ropes when we're in a serious sense of danger, but when it's at pure rules, you're limited to that. When it's a punch, you're limited to that. And professional wrestling has evolved so much over the years that it has made pure wrestling a bigger challenge, but in a beneficial way, especially when you go on after a match that is so amazing, so intense, and so crazy, like Layla Hirsch and Diamante. That is such a different contrast going from that match to a pure rules technical match. And both matches delivered for different reasons. And I appreciate the fact that I was able to go on with Willa Yuta and do that. But it's not easy doing that technical wrestling. That is taking the time to prepare, learning all these extra little details that I love about professional wrestling. A month ago, I flew up to New Jersey to learn from Skyda, who's a legendary luchador. Claudio's trained with him. Orange Cassidy's trained with him. I took those 2 days because I wanted to learn as much as I can about professional wrestling. My first year in wrestling, I flew down to Mexico, paid my own money to go learn professional wrestling. I trained with El Oriental and so many people. I love all these little details, these techniques that are often forgotten or ignored about professional wrestling. And I hope to one day pass those on to the people that also want to learn and grow.
One more question for Lee.
That's great.
Hi, Lee. This is Brian Zone with PW Torch. I'm not sure if you get this question a lot, but like this mythical match that happened in 2021, the tag match with you, Matt Seidel against Martin and Leo Rush. It just has this aura where everybody always wants to talk about it, wants to run it back. Do you guys talk about, because I specifically don't even know how long the match is, but it's just something that always will stick out in my head.
We talk about it all the time.
All the time.
That's why I elbow bumped him. We were all there. We talk about it all the time.
I know obviously you have obligations with the Shane Taylor promotions, but if and when Matt Seidel is ready, have you guys thought about running it back at some point?
I would absolutely love to do that because that was my first time on AEW TV. And to do that match and get that reaction, it was in Indiana, which was like a home away from home for me in the independents. do that match against someone who has become one of my best rivals, along with Willie Yuta and Dante Martin, face someone like Leo Rush, teaming with my mentor, Matt Sedel, was very special. And I do pretty often see the tweets that I get tagged in about that match, and I would love to run it back. Shane Taylor Promotions is a fight team, which means we can fight outside of our group. We don't always have to team up. You saw Shane Taylor team up with Johnny TV. It's a fight team. We support each other. We support each other's endeavors. Shout out to Shane Taylor, also one of the toughest dudes that I've ever met. You saw what he did tonight. I'm very excited for our future. And if Matt Seidel wants to bury the past that we had with some tension, I would happily team up with him again to face Dante Martin and Leo Rush.
Lee, congratulations. This was a huge night. And you've set a bar with Wheeler Yuta that I know that you'll meet and exceed. We're proud to have you as your peer champion.
Appreciate that.
Congratulations once again.
Congratulations, Lee.
Thank you very much.
That's great. That's great. Way to go, Lee.
All right, Tony, that just leaves you and I. And I'm going to put you on the spot about your Big Josh knowledge from earlier. No, I'm kidding. I think we have about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can, and I appreciate everybody coming here. If everybody hasn't had a chance to ask questions, it's really great to see you all. And I got some time. This is great. We're going to have a great time tomorrow. And I got to say, this has been a great week. So many great things happening. And before I even start taking questions, I have to say, I'm just really enjoying wrestling right now. The last 4 episodes of AEW Dynamite, to think that this month we went from Beach Break in Chicago, July 3rd, so much incredible stuff on that show, into Calgary, all the amazing things there, Dynamite 250 the following week, and then this fantastic show, the Blood and Guts show in Nashville. Dynamite's just been on a roll. I think the ratings have reflected that, the highest Dynamite ratings in 3 months the past few weeks. And then here in this building, we've seen fantastic ratings, the best ratings in 2 months for Collision right here last Saturday. We're back here for Collision Battle of the Belts on TNT tomorrow. It's been so fun. Royal Rampage tonight. I'm guessing most of you have not seen the Royal Rampage. When you get a chance to see it, it's absolutely fantastic. If you weren't there in Nashville, and if you have seen it, I'm guessing you would have had it on your phone during the pay-per-view, which would be very impressive. And I think that first and foremost here tonight, this pay-per-view is one of my favorite shows we've done. This was just such a fantastic show. I really think there's magic here in Arlington and in Esports Stadium, and just with these fans, these Texas wrestling fans, and especially here around the Dallas Metroplex here in Arlington. This is absolutely amazing. It's fantastic. You were great tonight. Congratulations on 10 years in ROH.
Thank you.
10's my lucky number. I was born on 10/10.
No way.
This really, I think, reflected, in my opinion, what tonight should have been for your 10-year anniversary, and one of the best ROH shows I can ever remember, and one of my favorite pay-per-view shows. So thank you for all being here. What a great time in wrestling, and this was a great night.
I certainly appreciate that. I agree, by the way. It seemed like we had a different flavor of ice cream for everybody, and they all mixed together well. And it was me, Caprice, and I just had a blast. So
6 years. 6 years.
6 years.
Caprice.
Yeah, which is wild. That just, like, I've had 2 kids in that.
That's great.
So, yeah, things are moving fast. So, but enough about me. Let's talk about more Texas, more Arlington. Magic in the air. I mean, the site of Briscoe's FTR, one of the great trilogy matches. Every time we come here, it seems like there's just energy. There's just a vibe. The fans are ready to explode. They know the wrestlers. They know the stories, and especially with ROH. So
absolutely, these are great fans. Every time we come here, I think in Texas, we've had a great history of shows here. I mentioned it on the media call, but of course, the first ROH show I did, the first time I really had gotten to work with you, was when we came here and we did Supercard of Honor. That was in Garland. And then we came here in Arlington later that year for Final Battle.
Yes, sir.
And have ever since done great ROH shows here. I have a great history of AEW shows here as well. Tonight, befitting that. Great to be out here. What a great main event. Mark Briscoe versus Roderick Strong, of course, on AEW TV, and we'll talk more about AEW and ROH here, but really fantastic stuff in recent months, especially with the conglomeration and the Undisputed Kingdom. And Undisputed Kingdom will see them back at it, going for the World Six-Man Championship of ROH tomorrow on Battle of the Belts. 3 different promotions with AEW, ROH, and CMLL featured on Battle of the Belts right here in this stadium tomorrow. So many exciting things happening, but I thought it was befitting tonight's show to have a great main event like Roderick Strong versus Mark Briscoe for the World Championship. And of course, Roderick Strong, great friend for a long time before this rivalry between the Undisputed Kingdom and the conglomeration. Roderick Strong, longtime friend of Mark Briscoe and the Briscoe family, great friend of the late, great Jay Briscoe. I was at the funeral service of the late, great Jay Briscoe. He was a great friend and a great star here on ROH. I loved working with him, and I sat right behind you there. And I think both of us sat right behind Roderick Strong. Yeah. And, you know, tonight was an emotional night for a lot of us. A Death Before Dishonor, first ever pay-per-view defense of the world championship for Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
And his first reign ever as a world champion, a title his brother held. And like Mark said, it's his sophomore year as a single star. And he's really found his groove, and really so many great things in ROH and in AEW since he hooked up with the conglomeration.
Absolutely. He's really, he's fighting a war on all fronts and succeeding. He's an incredible talent, incredible athlete.
That's great. Well, it's great to be here tonight, and love to take questions from everybody.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Paul Wedding with WFAA. You know, I was just thinking leading up to this whole thing, how great it is, if for a limited time, to have weekly televised wrestling in North Texas again for the first time in 30 plus years. And it was just and I was just really curious about this whole residency situation. If you viewed this as kind of like maybe like a pilot program, or if you have any future plans to have more residencies like this for Collision and ROH in the future.
I definitely think it's a great thing we've tried. It's been an experiment, and I want to do this more. The closest thing to this we had done is really in Daly's place, and that was really at first not a choice. It was something we did out of necessity, and it turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened in AEW's history. I think this could also be a great thing in the history of AEW and ROH, which in many ways now is becoming, frankly, a shared history. And we can talk more about that, but I think it's very cool, this era of ROH, and really exciting. This residency, like you said, it's been many years, decades since there was weekly televised wrestling here, and to have live nationally televised wrestling every week here, especially at such a great time of the year in the summer. I love wrestling in the summer. You know, it's great. And growing up, to me, I think about all those great summers, and you know, you have a lot less responsibility as a kid, and I know wrestling was my favorite thing as a kid, and it's great being back here, being able to do this every week. I know that this happens to be some of the best wrestling fans here in the world, so I don't know if this would work in every single market necessarily, but I think this is probably the perfect place for it. So far, so good. I mean, this has been a great thing, and hopefully we have a great run here, and I definitely think this could be the start of something really great we've done. Thank you.
Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. More specifically, 2 shows down, another month's worth to go here. Like, on a more fundamental level, working with Esports Stadium, Arlington, working with the city, how has it gone? Has it lived up to expectations? Has it exceeded expectations? How has the relationship been so far?
It's been excellent. We have a great relationship here. It's been awesome working with the city of Arlington, and the officials, the local officials have been fantastic, and the building is great. We love it. Like I was saying with Mark earlier at the beginning of the Scrum, we added another row of seats. We're still trying new things. This building is amazing, and I think we're just only beginning tapping into this. You know, some of the greatest fans, and I think really one of the greatest natural resources in all of wrestling, are the wrestling fans right here around this area. And I think we're really tapping into it in a different way, in a really meaningful way, with AEW and ROH. And with AEW, we're on in 150 countries around the world, and the Texas wrestling fans are famous all over the planet. And I think it's really cool. We're bringing the top stars, even bringing the Von Erichs and the Rhodes here on TBS and TNT. And I really, to be able to bring Collision and Battle of the Belts here tomorrow with so many of the great stars you saw tonight, but also we're bringing in, you know, I'm sure some of you have seen the card announcements. We didn't make them necessarily to the live house, but coming in tomorrow, you've got some of the biggest stars in the world, in addition to all the great stars, some of the biggest stars in wrestling we had tonight. We're bringing in more great stars tomorrow. We'll have Orange Cassidy's coming, Claudio, Pac, so many great things still to come. So I'm really looking forward to the show. And I have to say, like I said, one of the greatest natural resources in the entire world of wrestling are the Texas fans, but this building too. It's really, really pretty something special. So it's been a great experience working with the officials, but also I just really love the building itself and the people here.
Tyler Wilson, Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting. With the consecutive positive outcome and great turnout of every show that you've done in North Texas, does this lead to possibly bigger and, I guess, shows like pay-per-views like All In places like AT&T Stadium?
Well, there's a lot of possibilities. There's great venues around here. I think AT&T Stadium is my good friends, the Jones family, Jerry Jones, great people, and great personal friend of mine, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jr., Charlotte, great people. And just around the block here, you have AT&T Stadium. Globe Life is one of the top stadiums. Texas Rangers, great team, and also one of the great clients of True Media Networks, a company that I'm the owner and chairman of, and we happen to be the world's greatest and leading sports engineering and analytics firm. And if you watched the StatCast on ESPN2 the other night, you saw True Media Networks all over it. And Texas Rangers, great client. So that's another great facility. So great relationships here, like you said, with the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers. So there's a lot of great things we could do here. And I would love to continue bringing AEW here. Like you said, pretty much every event we've done, whether it's ROH doing, now we've done all of our pay-per-views here because we had a great debut. Our first time working together, we did, of course, Super Card of Honor. We've had great final battle here with the dog collar match. Two-thirds of that, the first and the last of the three, the FTR Briscoes trilogy here in Dallas Metroplex, and of course culminating here in Arlington in the dog collar match. And that was that night here in Arlington's the last time I ever saw Jay Briscoe. So it's a really special thing in ROH and in wrestling and life for me, but also some of the best AEW shows. Like you said, winter is coming, and some of the best events we've had have been right here around the Dallas Metroplex and in Texas. So great to think about that. And definitely this has been an exciting new way, what we're doing right now with the Path to All In Summer Series and these great events, ROH and AEW now here in Arlington. And I want to keep trying to find innovative new ways to tap into this great market, because I think this is such a great place to be for pro wrestling here around Dallas.
Great question. I think we have time for one more, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can. I can do a couple more. I think if anybody else, this is great. I really appreciate everybody coming in.
Hi, Tony. Brian Zelm, PW Torch. Tony, I wanted to ask you specifically. So based on the current data and attendance, do you feel like right now it would be a little ambitious for AEW to look at running a U.S. stadium show in the immediate future at all?
I think that, it's speculative and to talk about, but I think, it's something that certainly nobody ever thought that we would sell over 81,000 tickets at Wembley stadiums. And I think time after time, whether it was from the very first AEW show when we did the fastest sellout in the history of Las Vegas for pro wrestling, that's something we've never done. So I would say never count out AEW in any aspect of the pro wrestling business. We have amazed people from our very first show until right now. I think it's amazing. I think it's really amazing what AEW has done in 5 years. We're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of Wednesday Night Dynamite, and we just had, of course, a couple months ago, the 5-year anniversary from the first show, Double or Nothing. And it's been a couple years now. I've been working with Ian since I acquired ROH, and we're doing great things there too. But the leaps and bounds AEW's grown. It's really an amazing thing we've done. And, it's something to think about here with ROH too, the way that ROH is presented, because I think that I've really, really been very happy because we have a great crew here. And I think a lot of times together on Saturdays, we've seen a lot of the great stars, and just like tomorrow, a lot of the great people you've seen on the pay-per-view also appearing in AEW. I think that there's a lot of unique opportunities to integrate ROH. Frankly, the way that the company's presented right now, it's presented as a completely separate entity, and it is a completely separate entity as a business. They're two different businesses, but they have a lot of synergies. They share a lot of, a lot of operating synergies. But AEW has grown in 5 years to be, in terms of revenue, in terms of international exposure, one of the two biggest wrestling companies of all time, and on an international level have set records worldwide, the number one wrestling company in some areas. So I think it's amazing how big AEW is, but I'm also really proud of the history here of ROH. And it's really amazing that this company has been around for over 22 years now.
Yeah, 22.
Over 22 years. And when you look at it, so many of the greatest wrestlers in the world have come through this company, ROH. And so there really is a place in the world of wrestling for ROH. But, it's important to also look at where AEW stands in the world right now of pro wrestling. And it's at really at a top place that really only a few promotions in the history of the world have ever reached. And we're very blessed to be in that place right now. So it's interesting because I do think even though the promotions are separate, there is something to be said, frankly, between the synergies between them, because ROH has been providing something very valuable for AEW in terms of we've had a lot of the young wrestlers come here. And when we had AEW Dark go away, there has been not necessarily a place off television, off TNT and TBS for us to develop great wrestlers. I think that here right now, what we've been able to do with ROH, it's something that, especially without Dark and Elevation, that we were lacking without, I would say, without those shows. And at the same time, it's also doing something those shows never did. There were never championships in these kind of stakes or payoffs. There was never a Dark pay-per-view or an Elevation pay-per-view like the ones we've done in ROH. These are some of the best pay-per-view shows I've ever been associated with, and I think that ROH in 22 years has ever done.
Absolutely.
So it's really interesting what the promotion has grown into, but I'm really proud of it, and I think ROH holds an important place. But also, I recognize that AEW is at the very top of pro wrestling, and I think that the ROH brand could frankly benefit from even more association. I don't think it's out of the question to say, and I don't think it's sacrilegious to say, I think it would only help grow the ROH brand if I were to license it. If it was AEW ROH, I don't think that's a crazy thing, and I don't think it would be sacrilegious or bad. I think it would actually be good for everybody. And, because, then I think people would maybe see more of the connectivity that exists between the promotions and what we're going for. Now, as to what we were talking about at first, I think there is a connectivity here. From the very ground up, we're trying to build a global promotion. And when you look at the greatest markets for pro wrestling with All In right now, I think we tapped into one of the greatest places, London, Wembley Stadium. But as far as AEW, we've never tried to do a stadium show in America. I do think you can never count AEW out. We're building right now from the ground up. This year, we've announced all the pay-per-view shows. Where we're going to be in a year, 2 years from now, I would say never count out AEW. Anything's possible with this company. And it's a great question, but I definitely think I would never rule us out.
Any other questions for Tony?
Hey, Drew.
Andrew Badella, Final Bell Media. Tony, congratulations on tonight's show. Is there a possibility with your media rights coming up that you would explore Ring of Honor on weekly television, TBS and TNT?
Well, there are a number of great homes in the Warner Media family. So TBS and TNT are probably arguably the two greatest channels ever to show pro wrestling. And it's, like I was saying before, 50 years of history, over 50 years of history on TBS, going back to the 1970s, and roughly 30 years, about 29 years of history on TNT dating back to the mid-90s. So TBS and TNT are two of the great channels in the Warner Brothers Discovery family, but there are a lot of great channels in the Warner Brothers Discovery family. We're having great conversations with them now. I think it's not crazy at all to think that Ring of Honor could be televised in the Warner Brothers Discovery family. Would Ring of Honor, frankly, have a lot more value as AEW Ring of Honor? Yeah, probably it would. And I think I've come to that realization as far as the presentation, and that might mean, frankly, a more cohesive absorption of the promotion into the fabric of what we're already doing, but not in a way that would affect things. I think in a lot of ways people miss Dark and Elevation, and like I said, I think in some ways some of those things in terms of giving us a bullpen from Dynamite and now Rampage and Collision, which, you know, Collision didn't really exist. There's never been a period where we've done Dark and Elevation with Collision, because part of the thing when we started Collision was part of the deal was Dark and Elevation would go away. And I do think Ring of Honor, then, you know, some of that void, not only did that get filled, but there's something that Ring of Honor has, the intrinsic magic, the history of being a promotion that many of the greatest wrestlers in the world, a lot of them in AEW and or ROH right now, but even wrestlers in other promotions outside of AEW and ROH have competed in ROH. It's got this fantastic, amazing legacy and history. But now there's a connectivity, and frankly, in the past 2 years, you've watched it kind of become a part of what we do here. So I do think that's possible. It's something that has been talked about and discussed. I'm very open to it, and I think it would have a place on TV, and I think we could do great things with it. Already, a lot of the great ROH wrestlers and champions are featured in the shows, and you know, you've seen some of these great stars featured, whether it's on Collision or Dynamite or Rampage. But I definitely think that's something that I would be interested in, and it's something I know there is interest in. We're having great talks with, like I said, with Warner Brothers Discovery, but I think that's definitely something that is viable, and it's a good idea. Thanks for asking.
Anyone else? I'll make this one the last one, Tony.
Thanks, Adam.
Hi, Tony. Lisa with bodyslam.net. So on Sunday, you have Ring of Honor taping shows here in the Metroplex area. Is this like a test to maybe start doing Ring of Honor taping shows on their own instead of having them, you know, taped with Collision or with Dynamite?
Well, it's a really good question. And, you know, to your point, the beginning episodes when we started doing the weekly TV on Honor Club were in Universal Studios. And like you said, they were taped on their own at the Universal lot in Orlando. And those are really fun shows. And that's part of, to your exact point, that's part of why I wanted to get back to doing these tapings here. And I think we can get a unique energy, not that exact same energy, but great energy like those shows had. And I think, you know, frankly, even better, this is a lot more people. This is like 3 to 4 times as many people here. I love the setup, and the energy of the building and the fans is fantastic. So I had a feeling there would be some magic here, and I think there is. And I think you're right that doing the shows on their own has a great energy. Like, you know, a lot of the ROH shows, most of the TV have been filmed with the AEW TV. It saves millions of dollars a year, so there's good reasons to do it. But when you can do it connected to the tapings like this with the residency, then that really subsidizes a lot of those costs, and then makes it possible where you can do it efficiently and tape ROH standalone shows, not just the great pay-per-views like we've been consistently doing. Where really all the ROH pay-per-views we've done together have been fantastic shows. Absolutely. We're just all really a perfect record, and tonight is probably my favorite one. So I think that the pay-per-views, we've had that great energy, but for the TV, you're right. You know, AEW casts a big shadow over, you know, pretty much anything almost anybody can do. And when you're doing, you know, Dynamite or Collision, you're live on TBS or TNT, absolutely a lot of the energy is going to go into that. And ROH is absolutely a top priority for me. And I think, you know, a pay-per-view like this and all the great things we had coming out of it, and what we had right now up here, the great champions we're with, I think it shows how strong the ROH brand is, and that, like you said, it's worthy of its own show. So that's, I think, why being here in Arlington in the esports stadium, it's really perfect complement between AEW and ROH, like you said. Thanks.
Well, Tony, I think that about wraps it up. I want to thank everybody from the press for joining us here tonight. Tony, I want to congratulate you on another great pay-per-view, and it's always a pleasure to be a part of it.
Congratulations to you, Ian, on 10 great years, and to many more working together here in ROH and in AEW.
Thank you, Tony, and thank everybody for watching. Have a great night. Get home safe.